and welcome to Devil's Advocate. I'm Ben. As always, I'm joined by Sean.
Hello.
Today we're going to be the usual ambulance chasing selves that we are.
Yeah.
And do a podcast on mass shootings, specifically in America, although they do happen elsewhere.
That's true.
Other mass shootings are available.
Yeah. We're just going to be exclusively America.
Yeah, because it does seem to happen in America a lot.
Yeah, considering most of our listeners are America, we sure do go after them a lot.
Yeah, nothing personal, you know. Obviously, you just listen to us for our sexual voices.
We just have no limits, do we?
Sometimes.
Nah.
I wouldn't eat poo. That's a limit.
No, I mean with what we're willing to
Right.
what we're willing to cover in topics.
Yeah.
I'm sure you probably would for the right price.
No. Well, I have been reading that Aleister Crowley book, and he ate poo for magical knowledge.
Did it work?
Presumably not.
No.
Although he did claim to have started the First World War because they fucked up in a ritual.
Nah.
You know.
The First World War?
Yeah.
When was he born?
1800s.
Oh, okay.
Late 1800s.
Wow. So he was alive for the First World War then?
Yeah, he died in like 1940-something.
Wow.
Maybe after the Second World War.
I thought he died before the First World War.
No.
Shows how little I know.
No.
Wow.
That's when you could be a magician.
Yeah. That was a career.
Yeah, it was. if you were rich and you had like nothing else to do,
You were a magician.
you can be a magician.
Put that on your CV. 10 years of the dark arts.
Yeah. But anyway, back to mass shootings. Mass shootings in America have tripled since 2011.
Yeah.
Now there's roughly one every 64 days.
Yep.
Compared to the period 1982 to 2011, with one roughly every 200 days.
Wow.
Interestingly, though, while mass shootings have increased substantially, there has been roughly an approximately 50% decrease in firearms homicides since 1993.
That's good.
Yeah, so I don't know what the deal is with that.
I think the people that own the guns, they really don't want their guns taken from them. So the sort of law-abiding citizens, they're like extra careful to make sure no shit happens with their guns.
Yeah, maybe.
So they're more careful. They're putting them in their gun cases. They're making sure nobody gets hold of them and stuff. And then obviously your mass shooting's just happening because you got more crazy in the world than ever before.
True. I have got a list of things here why people do this.
Yeah.
Or theories why people do it. But let's just say that from 2006 to 2017, USA Today tracked all mass killings. There were 4 deaths. There were 271 incidents with 1,358 killings.
Yeah.
Usually, white males who act alone.
Yeah.
Now, I've got a list of mass shootings in the US over the last few years.
Mm-hmm.
So let's just have a quick run through a few of them.
Obviously, we're going to cover the latest 2.
Oh, yeah, we'll go through those 2.
That's basically why we're doing this.
Yeah. So obviously the Las Vegas shooting on the 1st of October 2017, 58 killed.
Is that the one that Dan Bilzerian was at?
Oh yeah, and he's like, "Give me the gun, give me the gun." And it's like the cop's just like, "Fuck off, mate! It's a pistol. The guy's on the fucking 60-something floor. What do you think you're gonna achieve with it?" And then I'd have just slapped him.
Would you?
So you're clearly out of range, you dick.
He's pretty hench. Probably not a good idea to slap him.
And I'm a policeman. What do you want to do?
Oh, you're the policeman in this scenario.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were.
And
I thought you were just the guy that came up and slapped him for. What are you asking for a gun, Dan?
And I'm the policeman. I just gone, "Shut the fuck up, you dick," and slapped him.
Pistol whip him.
Possibly pistol whipped him, and then arrested him after tasering him repeatedly.
You really hate that guy. You're jealous of all the women he has.
It's not even that. I just think,
like, I hate you. You have all those women and weed.
Yeah, there is that. But at the same time, it's like, fuck you. Just get the fuck out of there like everybody else. You're not going to do anything. You're not a hero. You're not going to hit him with that pistol. He's out of range.
He's probably just trying to help, wasn't he?
Yeah, well, go and do something else to help. Go and help the people who are injured.
He might have hit him.
He wouldn't. He's out of range.
You never know.
He's not. The bullet just won't physically go that far.
I watched the video of this one guy who's a sniper that basically said he set the world record, and he basically just aimed. He didn't really know if it was going to hit. He just aimed up in the air, and if you shoot, like the range, you can increase the range by shooting up in the right angle, and eventually he just shot like 4 times, so they hit the guy.
Yeah, but Dan Bilzerian's not a sniper.
Yeah, you don't know. He might have practiced at it.
I don't think that's physically possible for the bullet to travel that far from a 9mm pistol.
No idea.
I don't think so.
Never tried.
It's about effective range of at 20 meters tops.
Is it?
Yeah. And yeah, the bullet will travel further, but not 60-odd floors of hotel.
Yeah.
It's just not going to happen. That was 58 killed, wounded 700. That was, of course, where and that was only in 15 minutes.
Wow.
He had a bump stock, didn't he? So he turned his semi-automatic AR-15s into fully automatic AR-15s. Which, yeah.
How did they get him?
He killed himself.
Could they not have just rushed up the elevator or stairs or something?
Yeah, they did. By the time they breached the hotel room.
Why didn't the police officer do that was shooting him? The one that was stood by Dan?
Oh, well, there was imagine the scene. You've got like this big open area because it was a festival, it was a concert.
Yeah.
And he's up in the 60-something floor of this hotel.
Yeah.
So you've got this big open space, which is basically a killing ground.
And he just shot down.
So he's just firing away indiscriminately. Yeah. I'd imagine he hasn't got to aim that much.
So why didn't he just, why didn't the cop just run to the stairs?
Well, there's more than one cop, but remember, they've got to get entry to the hotel.
Oh,
and you've got to cross that open ground.
Yeah. Or
at least get round the back. So I suppose it takes time.
Mm.
And then, of course, you've got response times.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of conspiracy theories about that shooting. Like the cops not knowing exactly where the gunfire was coming from because of the acoustics of Vegas.
Oh, okay.
Because there's so many high-rise buildings that the sound is like basically blasting off.
Why didn't they just get another sniper? Like in a
different
building and snipe him?
I suppose you've just got to get someone there in time, haven't you? If it's quick, snipers are highly trained individuals. They're not just...
Was he highly trained then?
This guy, as far as I'm aware, no. Yeah.
No military training?
Don't think so.
Oh, wow.
Just crazy. Presumably he'd lost... They never quite figured out why he did that.
Well, how many people did he kill?
58.
So he was pretty good then. I mean,
he's firing into a crowd with a fully automatic weapon.
Yeah, but they would have dispersed pretty quickly, wouldn't they? So for him to shoot 50 plus bullets, a lot of people would have moved out of range by then, surely. So he must have had a decent shot.
Well,
surely.
He injured almost 700.
Yeah, he must have had a decent... Well, was it automatic, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah. He still must have had a decent shot.
Well, I mean, he's got to keep it in his shoulder.
Yeah, it's a fair distance, and they would have scurried. As soon as the gunfire started, they would have ran in all different directions, so he would have hit a lot of people. But
there's a lot of people there.
Yeah. It was nowhere to really get out.
So you start moving, and the people at the other end might not know what's happening, so they're going nowhere, and you've got this jostle in the crowd.
You start trampling people as well.
June 12th, 2016, 49 killed as Omar Siddiqui Mateen opens fire inside a gay nightclub, the Pulse nightclub in Orlando. 50 injured, 49 dead. Police shoot and kill him during an operation to free hostages, officials say he was holding at the club.
What was the deal with that one then?
I believe he was a closeted homosexual.
Oh, so it was kind of like, I hate you guys because you made me gay, sort of thing.
Yeah, maybe.
Sort of projecting his
That's it. I'm not gay.
For himself.
I wouldn't be gay if it wasn't for you lot. Now come here and give me that dick.
That happens though. That's what that one happened the other week, wasn't it?
Yeah, we'll go through him as well. Yeah, well, I'll go through him, but
you'd like that.
Not with that beard. No wonder he became a mass shooter.
But yeah, he was a sex addict, wasn't he?
Yeah. Personally, I thought my beard was shit. In fact, I'll show you.
Starting to come through.
Have you seen this guy?
No, you keep telling me to look at it, but I haven't looked at the beard.
I'm going to find it now.
He kind of disappeared really quick because the other guy literally did it a week later, so he's all over the news now, isn't he?
Yeah. He had his, oh man.
5 minutes of fame.
Well, funnily enough, that's one of the
reasons he did it.
Yeah,
he just wanted to be famous.
No, it's one of the reasons people may do it.
Yeah. Wow.
Basically.
You're like, no, I can't find the picture of the beard now.
No, I can't. It's really annoying me.
It's all right, man. You show me later.
No, I've got to do it now so you get your response.
You're like, I want your reaction. I'm not the beard professional. You're like, this beard is not adequate.
No, it's fucking terrible.
Oh shit! Yeah, I thought he was older than that.
No, he's 21.
Oh, that's like that's an awful beard.
Yeah,
it's like all neck.
Yeah,
there's no. That's very low, isn't it?
It's not good. It's not good at all.
No, he's younger than I thought, actually.
Yeah. Virginia Tech, April 16th, 2007.
Yeah.
Gunman killed 32. He was 23. Sung Ho Cho goes on a killing spree.
I thought you said most of these people were like white American.
Yeah, most of them are. This is obviously
The ones that you're listing off aren't white Americans.
no, that's a valid point.
Yeah,
Well, Stephen Paddock was from Vegas.
yeah,
Obviously,
he
Omar
was. Yeah.
Siddiqui Mateen isn't. Sung Ho Cho isn't. But in the
No.
majority of them,
Why did Cho do it then?
I don't know.
No.
Shooter died by suicide. So I guess
they always seem to kill themselves, don't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, you were talking about that yesterday. You were like, if you're gonna do it, fucking follow it through.
Yeah, get taken down by
Blaze
the
of
police.
glory.
Run out screaming.
Yeah, and they usually tool up as well, bulletproof vest and stuff.
That's it.
You're like, fucking finish it off then.
The December 14th, 2012, the school we do not name.
Okay, yeah.
Adam Lanza.
Don't take us off air, please.
Killed 20 children.
Yeah.
And shot his mother before turning the gun on himself.
Wow.
25 dead and an unborn child, November 5th, 2017.
Oh, man.
And that was the guy who was the Joker killer. Do you remember him?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Did they ever find out why he did it, or was he just a racist?
Who?
That guy, because it was a black church, wasn't it?
I don't know. You know more about mass shootings than me.
It's a horrible thing to have to know about.
Yeah. I think serial killers, just the whole sort of thing interests you, doesn't it?
Yeah, psychology of it, really.
Yeah.
23 killed in October 16th, 1991. 35-year-old George Hennard crashed his pickup truck through the wall of a cafeteria, exits the truck and shoots 23 people, then kills himself.
Wow. What was the deal on that one?
We won't know. He's killed himself.
Yeah. Sometimes they'll even know.
Yeah. I was just going for the main list of things, the main list of killings, really.
Yeah.
I just wanted to run through a few of the more recent ones.
Yeah.
The first one I ever heard about was August 1st, 1966.
Okay.
Charles Joseph Whitman, because I listened to a podcast on it.
Yeah.
Former US Marine kills 16 and wounds at least 30 while shooting from a tower.
And what was the deal with that?
I think he was just, police fatally shot him.
Yeah.
So,
disgruntled cop.
Disgruntled former US Marine. Sadly, I mean, Lee Harvey Oswald was a former US Marine.
Yeah.
The sad thing is about the Marines, some of them go on to have major meltdowns when they leave the service and obviously start shooting people.
And they're trained killers.
They're really good shots in the Marine Corps. They pride themselves on their marksmanship. Even Lee Harvey Oswald, who was like a radio tech.
Well, that's the problem, isn't it? You have these like really well-trained soldiers that see some really grim shit, and then you just don't have that support system put into place when they come home.
Yeah.
So they're shit hot at what they do, and then if they snap, that's very dangerous.
Yeah. The most famous one, of course, from when I was growing up was April 20th, 1999 at Columbine.
Yeah. 13
people dead. 18-year-old Eric Harris and 17-year-old Dylan Klebold killed 12 students and one teacher before dying by suicide in a school library. Now, lot was
the one where they were just walking through and massacring people, wasn't it?
This trench coat mafia, which was absolutely bollocks.
Yeah.
There was a group called that.
Yeah.
But they were not associated with those guys.
Yeah.
I do know quite a bit about this one. Basically, Eric Harris, if he hadn't have done this, probably would have gone on to be a fucking serial killer.
Yeah.
He had that personality.
Yeah.
He was a domineering personality. Young Dylan Klebold.
Would you say he bullied the other person?
Basically, he was
doing it.
He was the dominant personality, and he wanted to please. Eric wanted to please Dylan.
Yeah.
Sorry, Dylan wanted to please Eric.
It was like, we're going to do this,
and all this crap about them being bullied, and there was revenge of the nerds. It's all bollocks.
Yeah.
They weren't bullied. Eric was.
That seems to be a common theme then, because one of the more recent ones he claimed he was bullied, and yet there's less evidence, isn't it? It was the Boulder shooter.
Yeah.
Said he was bullied, but there was no evidence that he was bullied.
Oh, yeah. 2019, 12 killed as a shooter opens fire indiscriminately on a Virginia Beach city building, killing 12 people and injuring 4. The shooter dies at the scene after a gunfight with police. Later identified as 40-year-old Dwayne Craddock, was a certified professional engineer in the city's public utilities department for 15 years.
Yeah.
And it emailed a resignation letter that morning, citing personal reasons.
And then he went off and did that.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Actually, one of the phrase "going postal" comes from a postal worker who shot a load of his fellow employees one day.
Wow.
So this was the Joker killing. Was the 12 people killed, 58 wounded in a shooting at a screening of the new Batman film.
Yeah,
in
when you
Aurora,
said the joke
Colorado,
one,
yeah.
I was thinking, isn't that the one where there was a shooting for?
Yeah, the one I'm thinking of is the guy in the all-black church who went in there and opened fire.
Was it Batman 2? The second Batman film?
Yes, I guess
Or
so.
was it the third one with Bane?
Oh, 2012.
I think was it the third one with Bane?
Yeah, maybe.
I'm sure it was the third one with Bane, because I remember thinking when it happened, I was just like, that's the wrong villain. I know it's a really weird thing to think, but my first thought was, that's the wrong villain.
Yeah, well, he was James E. Holmes, who's 24, dressed head to toe in protective tactical gear.
Yeah.
Set off 2 devices of some kind.
Yeah.
And then sprayed the theatre with bullets of an AR-15 rifle, a 12-gauge shotgun, and at least one of two .40 caliber handguns. Police recovered at the scene.
Yeah.
He's got 165 counts against him for 24 first-degree murder, 140 attempted murder, and 1 count of possession or control of an explosive. He is sentenced to life in prison without parole.
Yeah, didn't he literally just do that because he thought he was the Joker? He just wanted to create chaos.
Yeah. So why do these people do it?
A lot of them just because they're crazy and unhinged.
I mean, there's factors. You've got the high per capita ownership of guns. So these things are readily available.
Yeah.
You know, we're looking at 120.5 guns per person in America.
Wow, it's a lot.
And the second highest is Yemen, number 2 with 52.8.
Wow.
Bearing in mind there was a civil war going on in Yemen.
Yeah. A lot of people dying.
So do you think that's a factor, the fact that these guns are so readily available?
See, we had this discussion earlier on today, because you brought up a really good point when you brought this up, but at the same time, you can almost use that as an argument against your point. It's like, yeah, they're readily available. There's a ton of guns per person. But then at the same time, that's not a lot of shootings and that's not a lot of murders, considering there's so many guns readily available. You'd think that people would be constantly shooting the shit out of each other, but it happens very rarely.
Yeah.
To the point where it makes it on the news. And I think I made this point earlier when I said that when there's a plane crash and like a few hundred passengers die, it's a big deal. It makes the news and everything, but it's still the safest form of transportation. And it's the same with guns. It's like, yeah, it's awful that these mass shootings happen and 10 or 20 or 30 people die, but for how many people that own guns, there's not actually that many gun-related deaths.
No.
I actually found the stats earlier for you because I thought we'd be talking about it. Where have I put my phone?
Oh, there it is. But 120 guns per 100 people.
Seems excessive, doesn't it? It's crazy because when we were having this conversation, we thought about doing this podcast. We even said, you're kind of talking more as though you're like, oh, you know, we shouldn't have this many death machines in the country and stuff. But you even said, I'd probably own one. And yet I kind of defend people's honor, people having these guns, but I wouldn't have one myself.
Yeah. See, I don't think you need a military death machine.
No.
Something that was invented by the military to kill as many people as possible to win battles, to win wars.
Yeah.
If you're going to use your gun for hunting, then you shouldn't need more than one shot to bring down your target.
Yeah.
That's the point of the sport, isn't it?
True.
You know, it's marksmanship. That's the point.
Yeah.
So do you need something that fires 30 rounds in 2 seconds? Well, no, you shouldn't have to do that.
This is the thing, see, is like I said, I found the stats, and here we've got rifles, 364 people that were murdered in 2019. Yeah, blunt objects such as clubs and hammers, 397. Personal weapons, meaning your hands, your feet, anything, you know, attached to your body. No, just personal weapons, meaning like body parts, 600. So beaten to death, technically. Other weapons.
What about if you rip off someone's arm and beat them to death with it? Does that count as a personal weapon because it's not your arm? Or are you taking ownership of the arm?
I don't know. That's a good point. That's a valid point. I guess it would be under club, though, wouldn't it?
I guess so.
Human-made club?
Yeah, maybe.
That's a good question. Other weapons not stated, 840.
That's where your human arm comes in.
Yeah. Knives or cutting instruments, 1,476. Actually, the biggest deaths is handguns, and that's 6,368. So mass shootings and rifle-related deaths are actually quite low.
They are. But
So considering they're the death machines, they make up for a small amount of deaths.
But also what you got to look at is it's harder to get hold of them.
It is, yeah.
They're more expensive. The ammunition is more expensive. 9mm ammo, you could at one point they were charging like $1 a bullet in Walmart for that.
But this is the thing, though, is all of the gun debates and all of the pro gun control or pro-gun, all of these debates are centered around assault rifles, how dangerous they are, death machines. Yet the real issue is handguns.
Yeah.
They're what makes up the most deaths, but that's not even up for negotiation with them.
No, it isn't, and that's strange, really.
Yeah, they're like, we need to get these death machines off our streets. It's like thousands of people, if not millions, it probably is millions actually, own assault rifles in America, and they don't make up that many deaths.
No.
So should we really be taking the assault rifles from people?
I guess not, but I suppose you've got to look at what each weapon does to the human body. I mean, they all do the same thing. They kill people.
Yeah,
but a 9mm round isn't as dramatic as a 5.56 round going through you.
Very true.
It does more damage. The rifle round that particular caliber round tumbles to the body.
It's almost scary though if you think about it. So, like, say if you were hit with an assault rifle bullet, there's a high probability that you're going to die, especially at close range.
Yeah.
Yeah. If I hit you with a handgun, you're more likely to survive that. So the fact that 6,000 people were killed in 2019 but means that they were probably double or triple tapped.
Yeah, probably.
Probably shot in the stomach or chest and then shot in the head.
But we've also got to look at is a lot of robbings, muggings, things like that. Store robberies would all be using handguns.
Because they're easy to carry.
Because they're easy to carry and conceal, whereas a rifle isn't.
Yeah.
Unless, of course, you've got one of these fucking Ruger R5 5.56s, which this guy in Boulder had.
Yeah.
We'll get onto that in a bit.
Yeah, definitely.
But I don't see pistols. Pistols are essentially a weapon designed for close protection, aren't they?
Yeah.
You need something small, portable, lightweight, fits in a bag or a pocket.
Yeah.
So that's what they're designed for.
Yeah, this is the reason why, even though I personally wouldn't own a gun. I don't think I would anyway. It's hard to say because I'm not American and obviously things are different over there. You know, you grow up in that, maybe you're more inclined to want to own one. But I don't think I would. But I would fight for people's rights to have them, because at least handguns anyway, because I think a lot of women would feel safer in streets if they had a handgun on them.
You think every woman should be armed, don't
Yeah,
you?
I do. I honestly do. I think in England, that's what we should do. I know it means domestic deaths would go up because women would be shooting their husbands. Take the trash out. No, bang. Take the trash out, bitch, or the next one goes in your eye. You shot me in the kneecap.
There'd be a lot of men having their balls blown off.
Yeah. They'd be like, you shot me in the kneecap. It should be like, you're lucky that's all it was. And take the damn trash out. You just hop in. Go on, Hoppy. You're like, I can't walk.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing, I suppose. It's a double-edged sword, because, I mean...
For me, it equals the playing field for the vulnerable. So if we talked about that a little bit the other week in one of the other podcasts, women do feel less safe right now. And if a gun makes them feel more safe, they should be able to get one. I don't feel the need to have a gun. I never have, but I've spoken to women and they've been like, you know what? I wish I could own a gun. And I could see why.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, should they get training first? Definitely.
Yeah.
You don't want them going in their purse and they fucking shoot themselves in the leg or shoot something else.
I've always had a very bad experience with women on the firing range, and I was an army reservist.
Yeah.
It isn't sexist.
I was going to say, word this carefully.
This isn't a sexist rant, because there are some women out there who are fantastic shots.
Yeah.
Who are very proficient at handling firearms. I'd say 60 to 70%.
Yeah.
Because I was a range master. I'd be the one stood behind the shooters.
Did you go around telling everyone that? Did you introduce, I'm the range master?
Yeah, you had to.
Yeah. You
do what I say, that I'm the safety official here.
Yeah.
Basically.
You go out drinking with everyone. You're like, I'm the range master. Like, okay, Ben, get the beers in.
No, you all buy me beers.
I'm the range master.
I'm not the one who's going to shoot. You all buy me beers.
Yeah. Would you say the reason why...
But anyway, so you cut us short. A lot of them close their fucking eyes.
Oh, okay.
I can see them closing their eyes.
I was just about to say, would you say it's because of a weight thing? Because men tend to be heavier. So obviously, if it's quite a powerful rifle, it's harder to control.
I think they like know it's got a kick and brace themselves, but sort of go
Close their
and
eyes.
close their eyes.
Yeah. Maybe don't go.
They didn't go out, but you know,
they went like a non-gendered person.
That's right. They have no gender.
Yeah.
And I you know what? I'm wrong in assuming their genders, right? Because they could have identified as men. I don't know. I didn't ask.
Ben's getting us cancelled now.
I'm just saying. I didn't know. I didn't ask. It wasn't a thing back then, Sean.
I know. Yeah. No, but I get.
It was only 10 years ago, but it wasn't a thing.
I get what you're saying. In your own personal experience, women on average didn't seem to be as competent as men.
Yes.
You're not saying all women. Just saying your personal experience.
There was some really good female shooters.
Yeah,
there was. But
on a whole,
I suppose because we were a reserve unit and they would have been non-combatants anyway.
Yeah.
Medical staff, medics, things like that.
Yeah.
They didn't really they just needed to turn up and pass their qualification. So maybe hey, maybe you'd have got them out in the field and they'd have turned into fucking Rambo.
Yeah.
Who knows? It's always the quiet ones you got to look out for.
Yeah, it is. Definitely.
What about mental illness as a contributing factor? Do you think that mental illness is, I would argue mental illness is on the up in the Western world? More of us are on Prozac or sertraline than ever.
Yeah.
Anxiety, depression, the pressures of modern life, pressures of lockdown.
Yeah. Well, yeah, definitely. I'd say these mass shootings have happened because people are at their breaking point with lockdowns. It's like people that have mental health issues, if they've got work or something to distract them, then they're obviously going to be less likely to be like, you know what, I really want to kill someone tomorrow because they got shit going on in their lives.
Yeah.
So lockdown probably played a contributing factor to why we had 2 in the space of 2 weeks. But I think we're always going to have them because, like you said, there's mental health is on the rise. It's simply because human beings are living in a world that we weren't created to live in. Essentially, yeah. I mean the fast pace. Don't get me wrong. I actually quite enjoy that world, but I understand a lot of people aren't built for the fast pace, working long hours.
Dog eat dog.
Yeah, dog eat dog. It's a very competitive world. If you're not a very competitive person, this world isn't built for you. It's built for Well, I mean, we were talking about this earlier when I was talking about The Rock. That guy thrives in this world because he's a competitor. He's a dominator. He literally his entire life he spends trying to be the best at everything.
Yeah.
And the world is built that way for people like him. It's not really built for people that just want to get by. They just want to enjoy themselves and just have a bit of fun and have a quiet life. And that can cause a lot of depression, can't it?
Of course. And I mean, you get laid off, you got house payments to keep up.
Exactly. There's so many things now that people in the modern world have to worry about.
Of course.
You know, a long time ago, all you had to worry about is getting food in your belly. That was it.
Yeah.
You know, how am I going to feed me and the kids? I've got a farm. I need this to grow. That's it. That's all you have to worry about every day.
I'm going to spend 10 hours a day down pit, go home, have me dinner, sail out the children, then go down the pub.
Yeah.
Come back, fuck me wife, I'm not going to the kiddie out.
Harvest was a little bit low last year, so I'll get up an hour early each day this year to try and get more food this year. You know, they were the only worries you had before when we were more self-sufficient. Whereas now it's like I've got these bills to pay. I've got a mortgage to pay. My elderly relative is sickly, you know.
Like we haven't got social health care.
Yeah.
You know, I've got to pay for that. I've got cancer. That's 30 grand. That's like $150,000.
Yeah, if we're talking about America, there's the fear of health,
Yeah, you got a lot of stresses on you.
Yeah.
And it's a very uncaring world and a very uncaring system.
Yeah, you could lose your job at any moment and then you've got that to worry about.
I mean, how many people are literally one paycheck away from being homeless?
Exactly.
A lot.
Yeah. And then you've also got the fact that literally because, not just in lockdown, just in general, because of technology, human connection's gone down.
Course.
Everyone talks on some sort of messenger, whether it's WhatsApp or Facebook Messenger or the many, many others that are popping up, or even dating before you could just go to a pub or a club and strike up a conversation with someone. Whereas now you've got to go on Tinder or whatever, the millions of apps that have popped up these days. But what happens if you're not very good at having a conversation with somebody via text? You know, then you're going to struggle.
I struggle with text messaging because I find it hard to read the tone of a message sometimes.
Yeah. Or what happens if you're good at that, but you're not very good at talking on the phone? Because usually these things tend to progress to that. You're not just bumping into them at a pub anymore.
That's it.
So you're not you could be a really good people person, but terrible on the phone or terrible on text or terrible on both.
And of course that leads to loneliness, which leads to depression, which leads to you hating.
Yeah, more people are falling through the cracks of society.
Yeah, because mental health things are being underfunded.
Yeah, definitely.
So, mental health is obviously a factor, and as we said, more people are slipping through the cracks because of an underfunded mental health system.
Yeah.
Number 3, revenge. Someone has
I shouldn't laugh, but that is a funny reason to motivate.
Well,
revenge.
I only kill for honor or revenge nowadays. Yeah.
You're like, you, sir. I challenge you to a duel. Just throw your glove on the floor.
I do think we should bring back dueling with swords. What I would like is for gentlemen to be able to carry swords again.
Yeah. You're like, I don't want to be able to carry a gun. I want to be able to carry a claymore.
I want a sword. And you say, all right, let's go outside and settle this.
Yeah. We will meet at dawn.
And, getting winged by a sword, there's every chance you may not die.
Yeah, it's true. Especially with modern medicine.
That's it. But yeah, revenge. Someone has wronged them.
Yeah.
Therefore, everyone must pay.
Yeah. Weird how they don't always go after the person directly, though, do they?
Sometimes they do.
Yeah, sometimes
kill them and then think, fuck it, I've killed someone. Now I'm going to go and take it. I've got all this anger.
Just keep killing.
I'm going to keep on killing.
Yeah, some of these school shootings are because of bullies, aren't they?
Yes, some of them. Some of them aren't.
Yeah, not that one that apparently those 2 guys claimed that they were. But some are. Some they just literally... They get bullied and then they go get a gun and they just think, fuck it.
Yeah, Eric Harris was just a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Basically, and he would have done this. He would have turned out
Ben's
to be...
like, come at me.
He's dead, so he can't.
Yeah.
Unless he's going to visit me in spirit form later on.
You're like, oh, no.
What are you going to do, ghost boy?
Yeah. He's like, he's been haunting me for 2 weeks.
Like, you pussy. Shut yourself.
You have to get the proton pack.
You fucking better add.
Yeah.
Revenge. I can see revenge.
Yeah, that would be a motivator.
Let's say revenge, jealousy, maybe.
Yeah.
A
lot of murders are crimes of passion, aren't they?
Of course. Most of them, probably.
Yeah. I feel like that would be more handguns, though. Like, you walk in, you see your wife getting banged, you just pick up a handgun and shoot them out both.
It depends what you've got in the house, doesn't it?
You're just like, they don't know you're there, and you're just looking in your gun case. So like, pistol, assault rifle. Pistol, assault rifle. Which one's easier to clean up?
I'd be like, say hello to my little friend.
Yeah.
Take the assault rifle out.
Like,
pop a grenade in.
Yeah. Like, fuck it.
Underslung grenade launchers. I don't think you can get them.
No, probably not.
But yeah, revenge, I can see. The gap between expectations and their current achievements, i.e., as we said, the capitalist, the neoliberal system.
Yeah, it's not built for everyone.
It's not built for everybody. They think they should be either A, higher than they are, or B, they've been turned down for promotion.
Yeah.
C, they might be up to their eyeballs in debt and don't see it and think, you know what, fuck this, I'm going to take revenge on the system. Like the film Falling Down, like Michael Douglas in. I mean, I remember watching that movie when I was younger and going, wow, how could anyone do that? And now I watch it as an adult and think, fuck me, yeah. I can totally see where he's coming from.
Yeah. The system isn't built for everyone. It's really not. And there needs to be more things put into each individual Western system to make sure that people aren't left behind. Yeah. Give them the opportunities to succeed at the things that they enjoy. Don't just make it all about profit.
But that's what the Western world is, isn't it? Well, not just the Western world.
It is, but I feel like we can find more of a balance to it.
Yeah, I agree with that.
If you think about it, really, the ultimate form of capitalism would be making as much profits off people as possible. And what's the best way to do that? Make them all love what they do. So if they love what they do, productivity goes up.
Yeah.
Rather than forcing them to do things they hate and productivity goes down. Because you still make profit, but could you make more profit if they actually love what they fucking did?
Yeah, but it's only greed, isn't it? The ones making the money want more and more and more.
It is, but I think over time they'll learn from their mistake and they'll be like, you know what? Actually, we could get more money out of these guys if we actually push them to do things they love.
Yeah. But still, evil capitalist bastards.
Yeah.
Crushing the souls of their workforce.
Yeah.
What about a desire for fame or notoriety?
Yeah, I think that would be a big motivator. If you've always wanted to be famous and you've never been able to find the thing that makes you famous. I mean, this is why kids were eating those fucking Tide Pods, isn't it? You know, poison. They're eating poison. They're doing it because they want to be famous. They want their 5 seconds of fame. They know it could kill them.
Whatever.
Yeah, they know they could kill them, but they risked it for fame. They risked it for 5 minutes.
That Dozy Bintu put Gorilla Glue in her hair.
I love that.
Like,
I love that story.
I suppose what you've got is lower education standards nowadays.
Yeah, education might play a part.
And people get their education from fucking watching idiots on Facebook and YouTube and
Yeah.
TikTok and all that. And before you know it, they're like, "Hey, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna go on this. Look at me on this." Didn't some dude shoot people wearing a fucking head cam?
Yeah, probably. This is the thing, though. It's all these mass shootings in today's society tend to be young, disgruntled people like in their early 20s that just feel like the world's failed them, but they're like extremely narcissistic, and they just think, well, if the world's gonna fuck me, I'm gonna fuck the world. But at the same time, it's like they're not even trying. They're not even trying to integrate in the world. They're just blaming the world for their problems, and it's almost what, mental health probably does play a part in these people. Maybe they were let down by the system, but at the same time, I can't help but think, maybe if they weren't as much of a dick, if they tried a little harder to be successful, if they tried a little bit harder to integrate or make friends, then this wouldn't have happened. They didn't need to get to the point it got to. And at what point do you start? I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm kind of on the fence about there being mass killing machines for sale that are quite reasonably priced as well. I've seen some of the prices, they're quite reasonably priced. I'm kind of on the fence on whether or not that should be okay anyway. But when I think it's just a tool, there's that famous rapper that said guns don't kill people. Rappers do. But that
was Goldie looking shade.
Yeah, but the point is he's saying rappers, but it's people, isn't it? It's not guns. It's never guns. It's just a tool, I
had this discussion with Mike the other day on Going to the Ball.
Oh, okay.
And he said, technology isn't evil.
No, people
but
are.
It is. A nuclear weapon.
There was a Futurama episode I watched this morning while I was eating cereal, and he said, and Farnsworth says that. He says, technology isn't evil, people are. He's like, think about the death ray. That's not evil.
Exactly. Well, this is what I mean. At the end of the day, it's a gun is designed to kill people.
Certain things have evil.
But it's not going to shoot friendly bullets or helpful bullets, is it?
But it's
a nuclear weapon is designed to destroy a city, so it's evil.
Yeah, but it's perspective, though, isn't it? Because it's like, it's a killing machine, but it's also a defending machine because it kills your enemies from making sure you don't get invaded. And
but who's, the difference between an enemy and a friend is where you're standing at the time.
Yeah, exactly. But that's the thing, isn't it? There's two arguments to every. Yes, it's a killing machine, which is evil, but it's also a defending machine because it protects you. It's like
it protects you by killing people, which is bad.
But it's like the nuclear bomb, though, isn't it? Like, you literally proved this argument when we talked about the A-bomb. You said it killed a lot of Japanese people, but it saved a lot of American lives.
I'm not saying it wasn't an evil invention.
It was evil, but it was used, in your opinion, it was used for good. I don't think anyone should use a nuclear bomb, but that's opinion, isn't it?
It wasn't used for, it was used for to shorten things.
I'm not saying it's good. I'm saying for the greater good.
I just want to say that desire for fame and notoriety, John Hinckley Jr., Ronald Reagan wannabe assassin.
Okay.
Reagan got shot?
Yeah, you told me a while back.
He did.
Because I said Reagan's one of my favorite presidents.
Yeah, he did that. He tried to kill Ronald Reagan. He wounded a police officer and a Secret Service agent, and critically wounded the press secretary who was permanently disabled.
Reagan was a pretty cool dude.
Do you know why?
Why?
Because he was seeking fame to impress Jodie Foster, on who he had an obsessive fixation.
Wow.
I mean, Jodie Foster's gay.
Yeah.
So he's really barking up the wrong tree.
Bit weird.
Yeah.
I like Reagan. I think he was one of the cooler presidents. He's pretty chill. Pretty mellow.
There's a lot of people who wouldn't agree with you and a lot of people who would.
Yeah. Depending on where you stand on the political spectrum.
He kind of brought in the whole
trickle-down economics.
Trickle-down Reaganomics, neoliberalism. A lot of people don't like him for that. But I don't know enough about it to...
I like him because he tried to make government smaller and put more power back to the people. And I think governments are corrupt and will always be corrupt, and we shouldn't be reliant on them. The more reliant we are on them, the more control. I mean, look where we are now. I mean, they've just extended the lockdown rules and laws. So if they wanted to, they could put us back into lockdown till October.
Yeah.
And that's because we want them to protect us. At what point do we go, you know what, actually, dude, we can protect ourselves. Thanks, though.
Well, that's it.
If Reagan was still alive and he was in charge, I think America would have been out of lockdown a lot sooner.
Well, who can say?
And I think he probably would have handled it a lot better than... I mean, don't get me wrong, I like Trump, but I think he would have handled it better than Trump and better than Biden.
Do you have this feeling that politicians... I mean, they've always been a bit shitty, but they've got especially shitty in the last 20 years? Like just sort of more incompetent and less.
I think it became
more about the money and less caring about the country.
I think you hit the nail on the head, to be fair. I think it became more about political power and more about money. I mean, yeah, money makes the world go around, so it's how we can funnel the most amount of money into our friends' businesses, and then when we come out of politics, we can then make money from those businesses by being shareholders and whatnot. So I think that's part of it, and I think the other part of it is power.
Yeah.
How much power you can get, like... for the first time in a very, very long time, this country's starting to feel like a dictatorship.
Yeah, we can't even protest anymore.
Yeah.
You want to go out and peacefully protest? 10 years in jail.
What's
that about?
He literally said the last lockdown before he said there won't be another lockdown because it's draconian. And then what did he do? Put us in another lockdown.
Yeah.
Within a few days after Christmas, bang, straight into a lockdown. One to it being draconian.
Well, Boris Johnson basically is full of shit.
Yeah, he lies. He lies.
He lies like a rug.
Yeah. We don't really have good leadership in the UK.
No.
So maybe you're right. Maybe
I can find you a quote, because we've only ever had one mass shooting in modern times in Britain, which was the Dunblane massacre.
Yeah.
Boris Johnson was a journalist at the time of that.
Okay.
And
it always baffled me how he went from being a journalist to being the Prime Minister. It's crazy.
Oh, because Daddy just pushes him into these roles. He's rich. He gets careers found for him.
Yeah.
If he wasn't a journalist, they'd probably thrown him in the army.
I'll give it to him though. He can talk shit to get to that. To get to that position, you have to be able to talk some shit. To get from there to there, you have to be able to talk some shit. So I'll give it him for that.
No, Boris Johnson wrote for a Canadian magazine in 1997.
Yeah.
As this country mourns the 25th anniversary of the Dunblane massacre.
Yeah.
The Prime Minister likened the confiscation of handguns in the wake of the crisis to nanny confiscating toys.
Yeah.
Like model train sets and stamp collections. He also compared the seizures to one of those vast Indian programs of compulsory vasectomy, complaining that an entire pastime was being exterminated and said that it was virtually pointless. I wonder who paid him to say that.
Yeah, he's not very good at handling things eloquently, is he?
He says a lot of things that come back to bite him on the ass.
Yeah, he's never been very good at handling tender subjects eloquently.
No. I mean, I remember watching this thing with him, and he was in Burma.
Yeah.
Which the British have a checkered past in Burma, and we're kind of only just becoming friends with them again.
Yeah.
And they're going up to this shrine temple thing up this hill, and the ambassador's with him, and he's like, just don't fucking, because he was foreign secretary at this point, and he starts reciting Kipling. Now, Kipling wrote poetry and wrote stuff about the British invade when he was with the British Army when they were in Burma doing the shitty things, and he starts reciting this Kipling poem, and the ambassador just sort of turns around to him and says, "That's not appropriate."
Not at all.
And he's like, "Oh, okay." And you're like, "You fucking moron."
What was he trying to do? Impress them?
I don't know if he was trying to impress them or he was trying to show off that he was clever by reciting this bit of poetry.
And he didn't bother doing any research before he did.
He must have known who Kipling was because he's read the works. Presumably he's memorized some of it. But you're like, you should also know the context.
I've always been
what we were saying.
I've always been a strict believer, if you want to be considered intellectual, that you shouldn't really be constantly quoting someone else's work.
Yeah, start making yourself quotable. That's
their intelligence, yeah. Why doesn't he just make himself interesting enough to have a conversation about?
Yeah. All right, so back to the Mashu. I was tying in our own PM to.
It was an interesting tangent and worthy of noting because he hasn't done a very good job lately. I mean,
at all.
Yeah, you've got a point. To be fair, leadership hasn't been great, and I know that Trump got a lot of backlash for some of the stuff he did, but to be fair, I think he's 10 times better than Biden. I think he's at least 5 times better than Obama.
Do you think it was how he came across that put so many people off him?
Yeah,
because he was very brash.
Yeah,
very say it like it is.
Yeah,
but you can't always say it like it is especially when you're the president.
Well, I watched an interview with this guy, and he was like the press secretary of Trump, and he literally said they used to write speeches. So they're meant to write speeches for the president. The president just reads them off. He said he never read them. He said he never even took them with him. He said he did them all off the cuff. And he said he would literally come into office one day and be like, we're holding a press conference today. And they'd have to scramble to do one. And they'd be like, we haven't had time to write a speech. He'd be like, oh, it doesn't matter. I won't do it. And I think considering he didn't do what normal presidents are required to do, just reading off a piece of paper. You see Biden, he's constantly looking down at the table because he's reading off a script.
Yeah.
But that's not what you want to see, is it? You want to see a man that's literally prepared to lead, and what he says, he actually thinks. That's not what other people in the office think. And that's what I liked about him. Yeah, he said some controversial things, and he didn't handle some delicate subjects. Same with Boris to an extent. Didn't handle some delicate subjects.
He didn't handle the corona thing well at the start.
No, some
puts fingers in my ears. La 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 la.
I disagree with that, to be fair, because Biden said that he was a xenophobe because he closed the border within the first 2 weeks, and Biden literally said that they could have got away with it for 2 months. He said we're closing down. We're not going to be trading.
Yeah,
with
but
China.
they didn't do the lockdown. They didn't take the measures that everyone else was doing.
No, because they didn't think it'd spread as far. That's why.
Yeah.
So what happened was they basically locked down the trade and like travel with China within the first 2 weeks of it happening, which is one of the quickest countries to do that. And everyone branded him as xenophobe because they didn't think it was going to make it to America at that point.
Oh, that's because they just thought, he's just pissing China off. He likes to piss China off.
Yeah.
I watched this
because they didn't think it would make it, because we didn't think it'd make it here. I know I didn't. The news said it wouldn't make it here, and it did.
Yeah.
They were like, oh, it's scaremongering. It's not going to make it that far, and it did. And America were the same way. So I think that some things he didn't handle well, but I think he did handle the coronavirus very well. I just think the media painted him as though he didn't handle it very well.
Well, still not as bad as a Brazilian guy.
No, he literally did put his fingers in his. He still is.
They're apparently like
he's hiding under a table.
Their health system's like on the verge of collapse. Their ICUs are at 96% capacity.
Yeah,
and I'd imagine. I mean, I'm sure there are some lovely hospitals in Brazil.
Yeah,
but I'd imagine the ones in downtown Rio de Janeiro aren't very nice.
Yeah. Well, this is the thing, see, but in America and here, both Boris, I hate having to defend Boris, but both Boris and Trump were both attacked that they didn't get the ventilators ready in time. You know, you have to get as many ventilators as you can. You need to get them ready and stuff. But then a famous doctor, I can't remember his name, but he came out and basically said, if you get to the point where you need a ventilator, your chances of survival are very low anyway. So
that's a valid point.
It's like 1 in 5. He was like, so the chances of us running out of ventilators probably isn't going to happen. It's like, because if you get to the point where we need to put you on a ventilator, you're probably not going to be on it very long because you're either going to get better or you're not.
But on the plus side, you can just rotate them around again.
Yeah, exactly.
But then again, it'd be the same as like if you said, oh, the NHS needs trampolines.
Yeah.
Well, they go, oh, but there's only 500 trampolines.
Yeah. Well, this is the thing. They kicked off with Trump so bad about this. He mass-produced that many ventilators, and they didn't use them because most people, like I said, they died before they needed the ventilators. They ended up having to ship them off to different countries so that other countries could use them because they ran out, and America had a ton of them. And this was because he was getting a pressure to make more. So he didn't even use them.
Fucking hell.
Yeah.
Okay, slightly back to it. Number 6, copycat.
Yeah.
Copycat phenomenon.
Some people want to be famous, and some people are like, well, that guy was really famous. I want to be like him again.
Yeah.
I think the way he did that, like the Joker killing, that always worried me. And I think it worried a lot of the Americans, actually. I remember they had like armed police and stuff at cinemas and stuff.
They did, yeah.
Because they were so worried that it would be such a famous killing that someone would try and replicate it.
Imagine going to the cinema and seeing an armed police officer.
Well, there's even people in the UK that were a bit nervous about going to see it because of that.
We can't get guns in this. No. Well, we can't get guns easily. You've got to have criminal contact.
We can get shotguns and stuff.
Yeah, but only if you can only in the UK, American listeners, we can only have a shotgun if we have land to use it on, private land to use it on. So most people in our town, I mean, I'd imagine there's a few people who have, but not many.
Yeah. It's hard to get. They're not impossible to get hold of, but it's probably going to be illegal. If you've got it illegally.
Yeah. But yeah, copycat phenomenon is a big thing.
Yeah.
And lastly, the failure of the system, whether that be background checks,
education,
but also staff shortages, incomplete databases, admin fuck ups.
If you grow up your entire life by being told by your school, your friends, your family, you're never going to amount to anything, you're more likely to shoot shit up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then again, we have things like about the Las Vegas.
Bringing up another point as well is even if the background checks work and these psychopaths get rejected their guns, they can just go to gun shows.
Well, that's another point, isn't it? All right, they're going to pay a bit more, or they'll
Yeah.
pay double, but they
Yeah,
can
it's
still go
like,
and get a gun.
You are far too crazy to have an AR-15, so that's not going to happen. You know what? We're not even going to give you a pistol. Fuck off. He leaves, and he's like, all right, and I'll just go to a gun show. Then they'll be like, oh, you're crazy. Yeah, I'm crazy, but I'll give you an
Crazy about buying this AR-15?
But take my money. But they can accept whoever they want to an extent, can't
Yeah,
they?
it's a
Because they're
private
private.
sale.
Yeah, it's a private sector.
Which is shocking.
But we covered that in the gun control
did,
things.
yeah.
We both agree that they need to clamp down on that.
Yeah.
That is there should be the same. If it's law for the government and for shops to sell guns, but they have to go through all of these sort of different things, paperwork and stuff, so should the gun shows. It should be exactly the same.
Just not have gun shows.
Yeah.
Or you can only sell deactivated firearms at gun shows if you want. Or historical weapons.
Or we have the internet now. Apply for your guns before you even go, and then when you get there, you can just pick them up.
Yeah.
You can be like, oh, look at this nice new technology and stuff. Oh, yeah, I need to pick my gun up. I ordered it 2 weeks ago.
So, I mean, then you go, it's like, so we got these, like, weapons of mass destruction, effectively.
Name of my sex tape.
Weapons of ass destruction. I wonder if that's a porn film.
I bet you
And
it
if
is.
not, why not?
You're like, and if not, son of a bitch, I'm in.
Weapons of ass destruction, enduring freedom. Operation enduring butthole.
You're going to be messaging famous porn stars later. Are you interested in making a movie?
With me.
With me. I'm the talent and the director.
Look at the lighting, right?
Yeah.
Well, we get at the shot. And then you can buy stuff. Well, you could buy stuff like the bump stocks.
Yeah.
To turn your semi-automatic rifle into a fully automatic rifle.
Yeah.
So it's circumventing the law.
Yeah.
And as we'll see later on with the Colorado shooting.
Yeah, we did some research before we started because of that. Because that was crazy. It baffled us.
It baffled the shit out of us. And I've got a reasonable amount of experience with weapons.
We didn't even really know what it was.
I was just like, I suppose my experience is more with military weapons, and you wouldn't have a
I think it's a fairly new weapon as well.
Yeah. All right, so let's go into the most recent ones.
Yep. One that happened. We'll do the one that happened like 2 weeks ago. Was it 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, March 18th.
Yeah.
was article, so it was the 17th, I think.
Yeah.
Atlanta. Robert Aaron Long's family had finally had it. Long,
That's the guy with the terrible beard.
Guy with the terrible beard. Long, 21, was so obsessed with sex, watching hour upon hour of pornography online, visiting the kind of spas where the customers bought massages and happy endings. Then on Monday night, his parents kicked him out of the house, according to police and a friend who confirmed the account. The next day, police said Long bought a handgun. And then, as dusk fell over a metropolitan Atlanta on Tuesday evening, Long launched himself on what authorities say was a premeditated trail of terror. He drove to 3 Atlanta area Asian spas, where he shot 9 people, killing 8 of them.
Yeah. It's worth noting, actually, that the mainstream media, full of lies as they are, said that this was because of race. This was a racial shooting.
Well, there has been...
said that both of them were racial shootings, actually, the latest 2.
There had been a upsurge of violence towards Asian Americans because of coronavirus.
Yeah, so they put 2 and 2 together.
So they went, oh, this guy's a fucking conspiracy theorist. Or
Yeah. He hates Chinese people because he blames them for the virus.
Yeah. He was on a mission, he would later tell police, to stem his addiction to sex. The spas were a, quote, temptation for him that he wanted to eliminate.
Yeah. So it actually wasn't that he hated Asian people, it's that he liked them too much.
Yeah.
He liked the fact that he could probably pay them a little extra and get a happy ending.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
Long was on his way to Florida when they arrested him to continue his massacre.
Wow.
So he wasn't happy with the 8.
He was like, I know I can get a hand job from the one down the road as well.
Yeah.
I need to kill them too. This is what makes me think sometimes they're just crazy.
And the best of it is he was in it. I suppose what happened, again, this is a case of a young man hating himself.
Yeah, that's what it comes down to.
I'm not justifying his actions. I am just saying that Long's journey from membership in a religious social club at his suburban high school to a murderous rampage ostensibly driven by his addiction to sex remains fuzzy.
Yeah.
I think maybe it's a struggles over race, gender, and the allure of gun violence, or maybe just...
A lot of the time, I think it's almost like a self-loathing thing. But
I think this is a self-loathing thing.
And then
He's got this religious upbringing, but he's like, oh, I shouldn't be addicted to sex.
And yet he is.
But then you can also say, well, society has pushed. All we get pushed with sex. Sex sells. Everything, anything they can use sex to sell, they'll use.
Yeah.
And porn is obviously freely available on the internet.
Yeah.
It's there if you want it.
Yeah.
And if you've got a problem that his family especially wouldn't understand, and they're just saying, well, no, you're evil. Fuck you, you're evil.
We were having this conversation the other day, and fucking hell, we're going to get cancelled again now. When we were talking about the Avengers, because we're massive comic book fans, and we're looking forward to all the new shows that are coming out and all the new movies, and I really enjoyed WandaVision, and I'm enjoying Falcon and the Winter Soldier. But we said, literally, the whole reason why they hired Scarlett Johansson for Black Widow, she barely played a role in the first Avengers movie.
She didn't do a lot, really.
No, the whole reason why, and I know she gets annoyed by this. I've seen the interviews. They always say to her, she was the eye candy. She was the good looking one. That's why they, was it one of the questions that used to annoy her during interviews was it comfortable wearing that really tight outfit? Did you wear underwear under that really tight outfit? Yeah. And she used to get really annoyed. And she was like, you don't ask the others those questions. And I get why she'd get annoyed by that, because it is, nobody should be really asking you about your clothing for a movie.
No one's asking Steve Evans, Chris Evans even,
if he struggled to
Steve Evans.
If he struggled to get into that Cap outfit.
Exactly.
Probably did, to be fair. Looks a little bit tight in places.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, hey, Cap, tell us about America's ass.
Yeah, that's America's ass. He's like, yeah, it is America's ass. But it's sex sells, and we know full well that they hired her to be the eye candy in the first film because they knew a bunch of comic book nerds were going to watch a bunch of superhero guys beating the shit out of villains, and an attractive superhero girl would bring in even more.
Well, yeah,
that's why they did it, and I mean that's why they've hired Chris Hemsworth, because it was a way to bring the women into the Marvel franchise. He is pretty good at what he does, but he's not the greatest actor in the world.
Well, no,
they brought him into it because he's a really good looking dude, and they were like, women swoon over this guy. If we make him Thor, it'll bring in a ton of women to the Marvel franchise.
Yeah, sorry, Tom Hiddleston.
Hiddleston. Yeah.
You're a great Tom Hiddleston.
Yeah, Hiddleston, I think.
Tom Hiddleston played for Spurs.
Yeah, it's Hiddleston.
Hiddleston. Yeah. Sorry, Tom Hiddleston. I know that you want to be Thor and that, but sorry, buddy.
Yeah, he didn't get the role, did he?
You're not as handsome as this dude.
A lot of women do find him attractive, though.
They do, in a creepy way.
I think he's an acquired taste.
Yeah.
But Hemsworth, everyone knows Hemsworth's a good-looking dude, and everyone knows that Thor was going to be a good-looking guy because he's a god. And they hired him to be as good-looking as possible because they wanted to bring in as many people as they could to watch the movie.
And I wasn't available.
Yeah, sex sells. Literally.
I wasn't available. For the role.
One of the reasons why so many people will go watch Black Widow is, it's going to be a great movie, but people fancy Black Widow.
She's going to squeeze her ass into that black spandex.
And people are going to love watching
People are going to love it.
Yeah.
Why doesn't Wonder Woman wear stuff that covers her entire body?
Yeah, WandaVision, I mean, it's a really good show, and I'm not really attracted to her, but I know she's an attractive woman, and I'm sure loads of people loved it when she was in that Wanda outfit.
I did.
Yeah, exactly. Sex sells. It sells more to men because they're a little bit more primitive-minded.
Yeah, and the parents described their son as a young man who had struggled with his sex addiction, even spending time in a rehab program.
Oh, dear. Oh, it's bad.
Yeah. Long had visited massage parlours and sees them as an outlet for him, something that he shouldn't be doing, or just an issue with porn.
Was he always getting happy endings was that the reason why he was going?
I'd imagine so, yeah. He also, to be fair, he was trying to recover from alcohol and drugs. Oh, no, sorry, he was there for sex addiction.
Yeah.
He hated the pornography industry. He was pretty passionate about what a bad influence it was on him. He felt exploited by it and taken advantage of by it.
Exploited by it. Mate, just turn it off.
He can't. He's addicted.
That's just a weakness then, isn't it?
I guess it is, but then a lot of people use it as an excuse.
Yeah, a lot of people...
Tiger Woods used it. I know I had to have like 3 affairs, but I'm addicted to sex, so I go and get counselling.
Tons of people have addictive personalities. I'm addicted to things, but then I just tell myself no. Being addicted and realizing you are, and then telling yourself no, is just part of life. Otherwise, you end up fucking being obsessed to the point where you go to massage parlors.
Yeah, I know what you're saying, but this guy, He
couldn't stop himself.
couldn't stop himself.
So what was his plan? To kill every massage parlor staff member in the world?
Oh, this is it. Maybe he's just been driven so crazy by it.
Yeah.
So full of self-loathing
that you had to take it out on everyone else.
They had to do it because remember, people don't like to blame themselves.
No, it has to be the world's problem.
It's the world's problem. It's these people's problems. I bet you he frequented that place.
Yeah.
And then he probably went to when he was on his way to Florida. Yeah. I bet he'd been there as well because he'd want to go as far away from home as he could.
Yeah. It's like with politics. When I talk to people about politics, nobody wants to criticize their own team, and I'm like, whichever team you pick, you should criticize it 10 times worse. You should literally be constantly on your side, going, "What can we do to improve? Yeah. What are we doing wrong? What are they doing right that we're doing wrong?" Because both sides are doing something right, and this one's doing something wrong. Yeah. The most important thing to have a better life is be super self-critical. If you're not self-critical, then you can't really criticize other people.
That's it. But sadly, this young man decided that he was going to go out and...
It was the world's fault.
It was the world's fault.
Yeah.
I think that's all you can say.
Yeah.
I would imagine these are places he would have been and got his happy ending.
Yeah, I just love how the mainstream media is still trying to push this racism thing. They pushed it all last year, and they're trying to push it now. It's like, oh yeah, he's a racist. Actually, no, he's the opposite. He's really attracted to Asian women. That's why he's going there.
Yeah, well, then it came out. I think it was like, oh my god, he's attacked an Asian massage parlor.
Yeah,
it's a case of putting 2 and 2 together. And,
but they did
and getting 5. Isn't
they did it with the Boulder one as well.
Well, yeah.
They said that was racial. They said it was a white supremacist, and then it came out he was of Asian descent. He's American, but he's of Asian descent. It's like his family was Syrian refugees, I think, or something.
Yeah, should we go on to the one? So Boulder, Colorado.
Yeah.
21-year-old accused of killing 10 people at a supermarket had a history of angry outbursts.
What was his name?
His name was Ahmed Al-Alawali Alisia.
You said the other guy's name, didn't you?
I did, yeah.
Yeah.
I've forgotten it now.
Yeah, I have as well. That's why I couldn't remember.
But I did say it.
Worth saying for if the listener wants to Google who they are.
Well, if they type in Atlanta massage parlor shooting,
or Boulder shooting,
or Boulder, Colorado. He'd also had a conviction for violently attacking a high school classmate, and told relatives he believed he was being chased by people who were out to get him.
Yeah, apparently the guy he attacked, he said it was because he was being bullied, but everyone said that was a lie. So
yeah,
he basically is just a very angry, confused individual who should have been on medication.
Yeah, and I suppose we can put this one. I suppose both of these would go to number 7 on the list, which is a failure of the system, but also number 4 for the first guy, the gap between expectations and their current achievements.
Yeah. He expected more for himself. He thought he'd be like a pro wrestler or something, and obviously he wasn't very good at wrestling. Wasn't there even a time when he lost a wrestling match or a spar, and he basically said he'd kill the guy?
Yeah, I guess that was it. He got convicted for that. For threatening.
Well, apparently he attacked a classmate as well or something.
Yeah,
because apparently the classmate was bullying him. But yeah, it sounds like he should have been on medication, and the system let him down, and his family let him down. To be fair, his family should have noticed that. His brother literally said that he knew he was paranoid, and he said people were following him. So why didn't he call someone to get him medical professional help?
Well, I suppose you can take a horse to water, but you can't make it drink.
Yeah, but if that was my brother, I'd be calling someone and being like, "Can we get this guy some help, please?"
If I'm his brother, I'm saying, "Come on, buddy. I think you need to go. I'll come with you. Let's go and see a doctor.
Go see a doctor because there's something wrong with you." Yeah.
So earlier this month, a judge had blocked a 2018 ban on assault rifles passed by the city of Boulder in response to the mass shooting at Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida, which resulted in 17 deaths.
Is that the one with that girl where she did a speech after it?
I think so.
Yeah.
Authorities said that Alisa had purchased his high-powered weapon, a Ruger AR-556, which is considered a budget version of the better-known AR-15 and can fire 30 rounds in under 10 seconds, 6 days before the massacre.
Yeah. What's the crazy thing about that gun, though? Because this is what
completely threw us. Let me just say, he was born in Syria. He's of Syrian descent. You are right. Yeah. He graduated in 2018, and he had a reputation for behaviour so erratic.
But he moved to America at a young age.
Oh, yeah.
He is an American citizen. He's lived there pretty much his entire life.
Yeah.
He was quite pale. So when they first released the photos, they thought he was a white guy. And that's why they went straight to white supremacist, because of all the shit going on in America right now.
That's right. In 2017, police arrested him after he assaulted a high school classmate.
Mm-hmm.
An affidavit in the case said Alistair attacked the boy at random, kicking him to the ground and punching him. Though apparently the class, basically, yes, exactly what he was saying. He was bullying him, calling him racial names.
You're literally reading the article. I read it.
Yeah.
You're like going straight through it.
Yeah, he lost a wrestling match. He quit the team and yelled out in the room that he was going to kill everybody.
Wow. So yeah, the system failed him.
The system. I mean, really though. I mean, let's face it.
The school should have known.
If you're,
I mean, he was arrested, so he should have been given some sort of help for his mental health.
School?
Yeah, through school, or even when he was arrested, they should have been like, you know what, this guy's threatening to kill people. He's saying people are following him. He might need to see a doctor or a therapist.
But I don't think we can blame the system so much here as his family.
Yeah.
It says there in the article, he's out for lunch with his brother and his sister. And he's like looking in the car park. They're looking at me. They're looking for me.
Well, that's the thing, see.
They went out and there was no one there.
Yeah, that's the thing, see. You can't only blame the system to a certain extent because people always fall through the cracks of a system. No system's perfect, especially government-run systems. But his family lived with him for years. Yeah. They saw his mental decline, and they did nothing.
At least the first guy, at least they sent him to rehab.
Yeah.
He tried to do something. If he's going to go to rehab, he obviously wanted to change.
Yeah.
But he obviously just couldn't beat it.
Yeah. This kid should have been on medication.
Yeah. He's 21 years old, for fuck's sake. And the same with the other guy, he was 23.
And he's severely paranoid.
Now let's just move on to the weapon used.
Yeah.
Because this is
the moment of truth.
This has confused the fuck out of both of us.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm pretty familiar with firearms.
Way more familiar than
military firearms. And the Ruger AR-556 pistol, a semi-automatic made for combat, is easy to carry and has the firepower of a long gun.
You heard that right, pistol.
So it's firing a rifle round, which is the 5.56 standard NATO round, which is a rifle cartridge. But this is a pistol.
It's designed to look like a rifle. It looks like a mini version of the AR-15.
Yeah.
Which is an assault rifle.
Yes. Now, what the thing is with here is that you've got this attachment on the back.
Yeah, this is how they get away with it in classifying it as a pistol. Because we literally spent 10 minutes trying to work out this, didn't we? We were like, why is this classified as a pistol? How on this? If you Google this gun, what was it again?
An AR-556 Ruger pistol.
And then Google the AR-15.
Yeah.
They look identical almost.
Yeah. The only thing is...
one's a bit smaller.
It's a compact version. It's got a shorter barrel. And there's no stock.
Yeah, they get away with it by saying it's not a stock.
It's an arm brace, but it looks like a stock and could be used like a stock.
And this guy did use it as a stock.
Yeah.
But if you use it as a stock, it's technically illegal. And also, you'll be prosecuted as though you were using it as a assault rifle, not a pistol, even though it's classified as a pistol.
But I say that's... Oh no! That guy over there, he's holding his AR-556 pistol like an assault rifle. Oh no! Someone called the police. Oh, he's shot 10 people. Yeah. Well, it seems academic how he's holding it now, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's like probably should just change it to being a pistol, an assault rifle. It's clearly not a pistol.
And this, because it's a massive, it's a big ass round for the size of the weapon.
Yeah.
So the recoil on it would be phenomenal.
Yeah.
Which is why you have this arm brace. It's basically straps around your arm and keeps the weapon still.
Yeah.
But why not just it baffles me. It just baffles.
You couldn't see it, but like steam came out of Ben's ears.
It just baffles me why you would want to make a pit. And I can see how it's a pistol. I can see it. It's got a 10.5-inch barrel. But it's a mini assault. It's a mini AR-15.
Well, this is what we discussed earlier. The reason why this has happened is because certain states are starting to introduce gun laws to try and do away with assault rifles or make it harder to get assault rifles. What gun companies and manufacturers are doing now is they're trying to find ways to get these assault rifles under the law as pistols. And they're doing it basically by making them slightly smaller, slightly more compact, and they're doing away with the stock.
Yeah.
And they're making it a arm brace. So you're essentially getting a mini assault rifle without breaking the law. And the reason why they have done it that way is because if you just saw off what's it called?
The barrel.
The barrel, it's still considered assault rifle, isn't it?
Yes.
They had to put laws in. Was it the 1930s we read earlier?
I think it was like the 1930s. They would saw off a rifle barrel because they wouldn't. I doubt they'd have sawn off a Tommy gun barrel.
The mafia were doing it, weren't they?
Shotguns, things like that. Saying, "Oh well,
it's just a pistol.
It's a shotgun pistol, which you can actually get."
Yeah. So the mafia basically were the ones that did that. They were sawing off their guns so they could get away with it as a pistol, so they could get a hold of the gun easier and also use it easier. So they introduced laws in the 1930s to say, no, it's still an assault rifle. You just sawed it off.
There's no such thing as assault rifle in the 1930s.
Well, you know what I mean. But they put in the laws basically saying, it's not a rifle then.
Here's a bit of trivia for you. Who coined the term assault rifle?
No idea.
Hitler.
Oh, okay.
Called it the Sturmgewehr.
Yeah.
Assault rifle.
Why did he do that?
Because the German army invented this basically what looks like an AK-47.
Yeah.
There's a lot of evidence to suggest the guy who invented the AK-47, the Kalashnikov, just basically ripped off the idea, ripped it off completely, made it more Soviet, made it more simple and cheap to make. And there you go. Because there's only like three moving parts in an AK. Yeah,
it's probably the most famous gun of all time.
It's the most reliable weapon of all time. You can bury that thing in sand, dig it out 3 months later, tap the sand out, it'll fire first time.
Wow.
There's a spring, a breech block, and a fucking recoil and a firing pin.
Wow.
That is it.
Wow. And you're like, it's a marvel of engineering.
It is. It's a marvel of Soviet engineering. It's just simple and rugged, which is what they did really well.
No way.
But yeah, he coined that. The German army came up with this thing, and they didn't tell Hitler about it because he didn't like stuff like that.
Yeah.
No, just concentrate on making the stuff you've already got.
Okay.
And he went to his generals, like, oh, what's the situation in Russia? Like, oh, it's pretty shit. It's pretty bleak, to be honest.
Yeah.
But we could do some more of those new rifles. And he's like, what new rifles? And they showed him, and he was like, fuck me, that's ace. I'm going to call it the assault rifle.
Wow.
And it's a Sturmgewehr.
Wow. No way. Trivia for you.
Yeah.
Instead of Fitz bits, it's Ben's bits. No, that sounds wrong. That sounds wrong.
I'm just gently teabagging the mic.
Why is it on Paradise PD when he says Fitz bits? It sounds hilarious, but when you say Ben's bits, it just sounds wrong.
And now you know. And knowing is half the battle. The other half is gratuitous violence.
But where were we? Yeah, this completely and utterly baffled us because it literally just looks like a mini AR-15.
It's a carbine. It's what I call a carbine, a smaller version of a rifle, which you would give to tank crews who haven't got the space to store large weapons.
Yeah.
I was issued with an SA-80 carbine. I forget the designation, but it's basically a cut-down version of the standard British Army rifle.
Yeah, but they
and we just called it a carbine.
Yeah, these companies have basically found loopholes. They found loopholes so they can sell these pistols because we were trying to find out why they do this, and because it's a lot harder to get an assault rifle. It is a lot harder, but if you can get an assault rifle type pistol, you get the best of both worlds. It's cheaper, you pay less tax, and you have all of the power of an assault rifle without half the effort. You don't have as many background checks, and that's how he's probably been able to get this gun.
Well, that's it.
Even with his criminal record.
And the thing, I suppose, because he was a minor, it may not have counted.
That's true.
Like, we written off.
Yeah, it might
I don't know.
Yeah.
The weird thing is that the Boulder specifically says that you can't have a magazine that can hold more than 10 rounds.
That's why he's only able to kill 10 people.
Probably, unless he swap mags out.
Yeah.
But, the magazines are... So I said, you can only have 10 rounds in a magazine. All right, I'll carry 3 magazines.
Yeah. So
there's no limit on how many magazines. And all right,
it's just the change time, isn't it?
Who's going to come and check it?
Yeah, it's just the change time, though, isn't it?
I don't know if they make magazines that can only take 10 rounds for this weapon.
Yeah.
Or you just buy a 30-round mag and put 10 rounds in it. I don't know.
No
but
idea.
Either way, the question of how many rounds are in a magazine when someone's shooting at you is purely academic.
Yeah, I would imagine it's probably they make them to be 10 rounds. And then, like you said, he just carries more. But I guess the sort of reload time while he's reloading, you can shoot him, I guess.
A couple of seconds to reload.
It is, yeah. But if you're charging at him or you're shooting him, if you're a cop, then those 3 seconds can count, aren't they?
Well, they can, yeah.
That's the idea behind that law, isn't it? Make it less bullets, so he's got to reload more often, so it's easier to take him out, I guess.
Yeah, that's true.
If they have to. Crazy thing about this guy though is he did all that, and then he came in full tactical gear.
Yeah.
So
he shot a police officer as well. He was the
Yeah.
first responder.
Yeah.
You know. So he turns up in all this tactical
All
gear,
tooled up.
and then he just strips off naked down to his pants. After he took a round in the thigh,
Yeah.
which was an in and out.
Yeah.
From a police pistol.
Didn't he kill someone before he walked in?
Yeah, he shot a guy in the car park
an
and
old guy.
started opening up.
And then he just walked in, killed a bunch of people. There was a few heroes there, wasn't there? There was a young lad. He shoved an old lady behind some bit.
I'd have been like,
human shield.
she's 69. I'm 20. Get the fuck in front of me. You've had your life. I've got mine to go. And just throw her into the... But then again, if I was 69 and there was a 10-year-old there, I'd throw them in front of the thing.
So, yeah, just a quick statement. Benjamin Carter, Prime Minister, in waiting. Vote for him now. Man of the people.
Yeah, I'm preserving myself for the people.
You're like, okay, what's your stance on the people? And you're like, well, do they make good human shields?
Personally, I'd have found the fattest fucker I could and hid behind them.
Oh man,
shouldn't make light of it, I know, but
no.
People died. It is bad. It's tragic. It's all tragic. But what's in the main? We got the supervillain episode coming out shortly, and we said that sometimes a villain is just a lot more, is either more tragic and more interesting than a hero.
Yeah, I guess.
I mean, these guys aren't, we're not putting these guys on a pedestal. These guys are scumbags. They're twats. These two especially, they're just guys who couldn't cope with who they were.
Yeah, they couldn't cope with being 20-year-old. They're basically like, what's the word I'm looking for? They've given up on the world. They've given up on the, there's a word for it, isn't there? I can't remember what it's called now. When basically you've just given up on the system, you've given up on the world, and you've decided to step away from it.
Oh, you're just becoming a hermit in a way.
I can't remember what they call it now.
But, the first guy, sex addiction, well, okay, whatever. I don't really consider that an addiction that you should be ashamed of. But then again, he had that religious upbringing.
Yeah.
I mean, as long as you're having consensual sex, then I don't really see a problem with being a sex addict. Do you? No, I don't.
Well, if you're an adult, you can do what you want, I guess.
And as long as it's all consensual.
Yeah, I don't agree with. I don't agree with being an addict to anything. I think you can be addicted to things and find the willpower and determination not to be addicted to them. Set things in place in your life to make sure those things don't control you.
Yeah, but that's you. You're in this. That first chap, 23 years old.
Yeah,
strict Christian upbringing.
Yeah,
goes out in the world with that fine beard.
Yeah,
and decides he's gonna, and then he's like, "Oh shit, I can't deal with this. It's too much. It's like a sensory overload."
Yeah.
Second guy was just an angry asshole, an angry, mentally ill asshole. But again,
nihilist.
Nihilist.
That's the word. They're nihilists.
Yeah. But if you're gonna turn up in all that tactical gear, right, you're obviously wearing a bulletproof vest for a reason. So just fucking...
Yeah.
Why aren't you going out in a blaze of glory?
Yeah, you said that yesterday. You said if you're going to gear up like that and you're going to wear the tactical gear, get these guns, get these assault pistols.
Assault pistols, fuck me.
Then you might as well, if you've gone through all that effort, you might as well go out in a blaze of glory.
But this guy... I don't know if Colorado has a death penalty, but he's facing life in prison at the minimum.
Yeah, well, so he should. Really.
Absolutely.
I mean... He needs to have his head checked because maybe he's in the wrong building. Maybe he needs to be in a sane asylum, to be fair, because he sounds a little bit nuts to me.
Well, that's what the defense will push for.
Insanity, yeah. But, he's killed 10 people. He deserves to be in jail for that. He shouldn't be part of society, should he?
No.
He's lost that. Just because he thinks the world's against him and he's a nihilist doesn't mean he gets to kill 10 people. Take out his rage on the world.
Well, that's it. And he's obviously premeditated because he's gone and bought this thing 6 days earlier.
Yeah. I don't agree with human weakness will always be there. We'll always be weak. We'll always be vulnerable.
That's what makes us what we are as a species.
We'll always have our fears. We have irrational fears, things that like probably we find embarrassing about us. But we can blame society for that, or we can just crack on and try and overcome those fears, overcome things like silly one, but I don't have any tattoos. And you've asked me before why I don't have tattoos. And I say to you, well, I don't want to make that kind of commitment because I kind of get bored of things quite quickly. I jump into a lot of different interests and hobbies, don't I? Because I have a lot of interests, but I don't stick at I can't dedicate myself to one tattoo because I know in about 10 years time I want to change it, so I don't have one. But I don't blame people for the fact that I can't make a decision on something like that. I just don't do it. And if I do ever make a decision on it, then that's fine, but I'm not going to get angry at other people because I can't make up a decision on that.
Yeah.
You know, it's irrational to blame others for the fact that things in our life aren't going right, you know, or we want something a certain way. Like I want to work now. I've wanted to work for this past year because of COVID. I can't.
I told you could go to work for me.
Yeah, do your job.
Yeah.
But I don't blame the world for that. You know, it is what it is.
So you haven't had the urge to go and shoot up the Thai massage parlour in Dorley High Street then?
No.
I wonder if they do happy endings.
Probably. But it's very easy to kind of say, well, I'm not happy with my life. I'm not happy with this. I'm not happy with that. It's their fault. It's the world's fault. It's just all excuses. If you're not happy with something, change it. If you can't make up your mind, then just accept you can't make up your mind and move on something. But don't blame people for it.
Yeah.
What irritates me is if somebody's like really indecisive and then they're like, oh, I'm so frustrated. I'm like, yeah, you're frustrated at yourself. Don't take it out on people around you.
Yeah, that's it, isn't it?
Yeah. Or, oh, I'm so frustrated that this went wrong for me. And I'm like, yeah, it's fine. But next time, make it right for yourself. It's like they almost want you to go, oh, yeah, it's because the world let you down. It's like, nah, I didn't let you down. You just didn't do it the right thing or you didn't make the right choice. I mean, in life, we don't have hindsight. So sometimes we make the wrong decisions and we need to live with the repercussions to that. We can't go, oh, you know, the world was against me on that decision. It's like, no, you know, every time you make a decision, it could be really bad for you. It could be really good for you. You could go, you know what, I really fancy going to the shop and grabbing a few beers. And you leave and you get hit by a car.
Yeah.
That's a decision we make every day and we don't realize there's going to be bad repercussions, but sometimes there is.
Yeah, I mean, there's been many a time I've been really pissed off at work. I've never felt the urge to go in there with an automatic rifle and start pumping round after round into colleagues and co-workers.
Yeah.
As I slowly stalk through the office block.
Yeah. You're intelligent enough and crazy enough to...
Not crazy enough.
Not crazy enough.
Well, I might be crazy.
I might just be so crazy this might work.
Crazy like a fox.
Not crazy enough to realize that the world isn't to blame for your problems, that it's your own life. So you take self-accountability. And that's the thing. These people aren't prepared to take self-accountability.
You know what these people need?
What?
They need to sit down and watch Rocky Balboa.
And well, for that speech?
Yeah.
Which film was that again?
Rocky Balboa.
Yeah, which one?
Rocky 6.
Rocky 6, that was it.
You know, no one hits as hard as life and it will beat you down. It's relentless.
Yeah, life is really tough.
But don't get an automatic rifle or pistol.
Yeah. As we've learned now. Pistols are the real issue and nobody's talking about them.
Yeah. Especially AR-15 pistols, though.
Yeah.
I think they may be more of a problem in times to come.
Yeah.
That's it. It's like...
That's what it comes down to, doesn't it? It comes down to self-accountability. These people that are falling through the cracks of society, a lot of them, not all of them. I mean, mass shooters come in all shapes and sizes, I'm sure. But a lot of them are the young people that have kind of... like men usually in their 20s or 30s that feel like the world has just left them behind. Well, they're angry about it.
I think this is, for all the talk about what guns you should own or should be allowed to own or what shouldn't you be allowed to own, I think the major problem is social.
Yeah.
And it is like there's mental health funding certainly in Britain and definitely in America where if you've got no job, the care you can get is very limited.
Yeah.
Or you haven't got insurance, the care you can get is very limited to your mental health.
Yeah.
And, you know, you've got all this pressure on you as a man, as we discussed earlier. You've got to achieve this. You've got to do this. I should be married by now. I should have kids by now. Why aren't I earning as much as that guy over there? Yeah. What's the difference between... And I think it just... And remember that men have the highest suicide rate. Men, especially in the UK, I can't talk for America, men who are like 30 to 40... It's the highest suicide rate.
Yeah, because men have been raised for many generations that showing too much emotion is weakness, getting upset, having feelings is weakness. And That's why they're kind of forced to bottle it inside. If you fail as a man, that's it. It's on you. You're a failure. If you fail as a woman, usually you have a support network, and they're like, oh, that's awful. That's really sad. What can we do to help you?
You've got more understanding friends.
Yeah. With men, it's like, pick yourself up, mate.
Yeah, man.
Get over it. Yeah. It's and that's why the suicide rates are so high for men. And it's almost like these mass shooters. I think I said earlier I was looking for the word. The word was nihilism. They've given up on the world.
Yeah.
Nihilism. Google it if you're not sure what it means, but basically just means you've given up on society because you believe society's given up on you. So rather than trying to make something of yourself, you've just accepted that it's unfair and just decided that it's easier just to do nothing.
Apart from to go and kill people.
Yeah, you don't. Well, that's what it can lead to, can't it? If you don't contribute to society, then society gives up on you or forgets about you, and that makes you angry or upset. So then these people are like, okay, I don't have a job, I don't have a girlfriend, I don't have a purpose, or a boyfriend if you're gay.
Whatever.
I don't have a purpose.
Or I'm gay and angry about it because I don't want to be.
Yeah, or I don't have friends, or I'm a sex addict, but I can't get the sex like that one guy.
He was going to the massage parlors.
Yeah, so they fall through the cracks and then they get really angry about it. It's like, well, it's not me. It's not my fault. It's the world. The world's screwed up. I'm going to take it out on the world. But you can't take it out on the world, but you can take it out on people around you. Mm. And usually for some reason, they find strangers. And they not always. Sometimes they go off to work colleagues, schools.
I think it depends on where you've had that breakdown.
Yeah. Sometimes I'll just buy the gun and walk off and go into a supermarket.
Let's say, for example, the last two, I can't speak too much about the guy with the AR-15 pistol because he just seemed to go to, I don't think he had anything to do with that coffee shop.
No, it was just random.
But like you say, sex addict boy with his terrible beard.
Yeah.
He decided, well, they're the problem. If they weren't here, I wouldn't have this problem.
Yeah, it's not my fault.
It's not my fault. It's that this is so easily available to me. I can't help myself but to go.
He didn't even need to find prostitution. He just went to a massage parlor and paid him a bit extra money.
Well, the thing is, that would have been his next step.
Yeah,
it would have. And before you know it, he's killing prostitutes.
Yeah.
Or killing sex workers. Let's call them sex workers. That's only fair.
Yeah.
Before you know it, he's killing sex workers because he was. And then you've got another Jack the Ripper on your fucking hands.
Yeah. It was never about the world. It was about them not prepared to take accountability for their life failings. Like you said, he grew up with a religious background where they were quite strict and they expected certain things from him. And he obviously then was ashamed of who he was. So then rather than going, okay, I need to work on myself, I need to try and get past this, or even just accept who I am if you can't beat it, he then decided to be like, it's not my fault. They're just too irresistible.
Yeah.
The women are just too...
I love me some Thai women.
Yeah, women are just too irresistible. I can't help myself. It's their fault. So then he just went off on a killing spree, which is like, how many would have been enough? How many massage parlors was he going to visit?
He was on his way to Florida when they arrested him. Yeah. So he was obviously intent on carrying this on.
Yeah.
So he's already a serial killer.
Yeah.
So he's just going to be... He's going to try and up his score.
Yeah.
And remember, you have this celebrity culture as well.
Yeah.
So, how can I, you know what? I want the world to know my name. How can I make the world know my name?
Yeah, he wants to be remembered.
I'll go and shoot a lot of people.
Yeah.
I'll go and buy a gun. I've never had any mental health issues before. Yeah. I've got the money. I can go and buy this gun.
I think that's kind of what it comes down to is that whatever the reason is for their actions, it's almost like, obviously, guns are what are killing people. They are a tool that's being used, but guns aren't the problem. The problem is teaching a generation or the generations coming self-accountability, and also putting more into mental health because it's becoming more of a problem because society isn't built for everyone. And some people get let down, or some people don't want to sit into or fit into that society, and they're being let down. So yes, if they want to have that life, that's fine, but then they need some sort of support system. And if it's not their family, if their family can't do it, like the guy from Boulder, his brother should have done more, but he didn't.
Yeah.
Have help available for people like them. People make sure that the world is aware of what they can do. Okay, my brother's a bit paranoid. Can I call someone to make sure he's never able to buy a gun?
Yeah.
Why isn't there a phone number where you can call and be like, look, my brother seems a bit unhinged for the past couple of weeks. Don't think he's likely to kill anyone, but let's make sure we put him on some sort of watch list where he can't buy guns.
Yeah. I'm concerned about his mental health and I want to get him checked out.
Yeah. Here's his IDs so you know who he is, what he looks like.
But this is the thing, isn't it? It's just like you've got this blanket rule that says if you've got this, and haven't got this and this, you can own this this weapon of mass destruction.
Yeah.
It's designed for the army. You know, it can kill loads of people really fast.
Yeah.
You can have this.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, that's great. They look at my back record and say I've had therapy and taken antidepressants.
So they'd be like, maybe
so they'd
not.
be like, he probably shouldn't have an AR-15.
Then you just go to a gun show.
Then I just go to a gun show and buy one.
And you've got one. Yeah.
You know?
There needs to be more rules in place, and there needs to be ways to catch these people in the system that have been let down because of their mental health or because they are a little bit unstable. There needs to be ways to catch them. But I do also agree with the gun advocates who argue that criminals will always be able to get a hold of guns. Always.
They will, but how often in this country do they get hold of guns? I mean, all right, we haven't any guns in this country are either stolen, antiques, or war relics potentially.
In cities sometimes.
Or they're smuggled in.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, isn't it? Is most of the time these gun violence, these murders are usually illegal guns. Rarely is it legal guns that are
Or they've been stolen.
Yeah, or they've been stolen.
You know what always gets me?
Yeah.
Right. Firearms have to be maintained. Any gun owner will tell you that. If you don't clean your rifle or your pistol, whatever, it will eventually refuse to fire, and it may even blow up in your hand or in your face. How do these inner city kids in Britain know how to clean a firearm and to get all the kit from and everything?
Yeah.
Because surely, I don't know how many rounds you'd have to run through a pistol for it before it refused to fire. Presumably, you're not using very good ammunition.
I'm guessing that, one, they don't use them very often. It's more of a threat. And two, they don't, and it probably does.
Yeah, eventually it'll just go off in someone's hand.
Yeah, it probably does. Or three, they just literally, they buy a gun off of someone, and then once they've done whatever they've done with it, they just ditch it.
Yeah, or sell it on.
Or sell it on, yeah. So they've never actually got it on them too often.
Yeah.
Or maybe, I don't know, maybe someone in their gang is a gun advocate who literally knows how to clean them. You know, we don't know.
I mean, I do see some pictures from America that puzzle me.
Yeah.
You know, I saw this picture of a guy genuinely in his Starbucks. You know, and this guy's got his little camping shorts on.
Yeah.
And he's got like 4 pistols strapped to him, 2 thigh holsters and 2 hip holsters. You are going for a Starbucks.
Yeah.
Mate, what are you doing?
Yeah.
It's your right to carry. If you want to carry a fucking bazooka, it's your constitutional right, I guess, as long as it's legal. But do you need 4 handguns to go to the shop? Plus ammo. He had a couple of fucking ammo pouches on him too. Yeah. He must have had about 6 to 8 mags on him.
It's ingrained in their culture, isn't it?
I know, but what point? I can't get my head around that.
Yeah.
I can't get my head around walking around the street with an AR-15 slung across my chest.
Well, one of my clients,
and a combat rig, and I don't get it.
One of my clients is a big fan of basketball. He literally said that he watched a video once of one of his favorite basketball players, and the whole team, they went to a gun show, and apparently the one guy, he picked up 100 different weapons, different guns, and filled his car with it. And his friends were like, mate, do you really need that many guns? He just literally bought 100 guns and chucked them in his car.
I suppose you can always argue with that. Is he a collector? Were these historical pieces? Were they modern?
No, I think most of them were just regular guns.
In that case, I'd argue that he's buying them to sell them to somebody.
He was a famous basketball player worth millions. I think he was just buying them because he's probably that worried that someone might break into his house. I guess that happens a lot in America, doesn't it? Celebrities get broken into. They have all their money and their belongings taken from them.
Then they're insured and they get it all back.
Yeah, but it's the fear of you being in there, isn't it?
Yeah.
I've read that a few times. Celebrities have had their house broken into and they've been in there and they've had like altercations with the people that broke in. And there was that apparent one with Kim Kardashian, wasn't there?
Yeah, that seems a bit iffy to me.
It does, doesn't it? It seemed a bit strange.
Yeah. But nonetheless, so, I mean, what's the solution then? Because as we've talked about, yes, a lot of these more modern shootings do involve mass shootings.
Yeah.
Do involve an AR-15 or type weapon, let's say, an assault rifle type weapon.
Yeah, but they don't kill many people. It's just the shock of it. Yearly.
It's the shock of it, but also the 90-something% of gun crime in America involves pistols.
Yeah. It's like 6,500 people died in 2019 of pistols, and it was like 300 died of assault rifles, which is a massive difference.
So, which obviously the assault rifles get the
news. They make the news.
It's a shorter period of time.
Yeah.
I mean, have you ever seen the Hollywood bank robbery footage? We did a podcast about it on Cutting to the Bull. It was amazing. These two blokes they'd made their own body armor out of Kevlar plates and whatever they could have. They had like 1,200 rounds of ammunition, a couple of AKs.
Yeah.
They had like an hour and a half shootout with the police making their escape.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
It is crazy. It is. Yeah.
And you think, but I don't see why you need to have 4 guns strapped to you.
No, it's crazy. Yeah, I think
I don't see why I've got to. Do I feel that insecure that I've got to walk down the street with an automatic weapon strapped across my chest?
I guess if you live in a country with people that also have those automatic weapons strapped onto their chest.
Yes, so, but at the same time, the second, I mean, don't get me wrong. There's some instances where people having guns
has worked out quite well.
Can work out well. I think you remember the London Bridge attack in Britain a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
Where some guys just got out of a van and started stabbing people.
Yeah.
And the police were like quite coolly fighting them like with their batons, like sword fighting with them.
Well, there was that one bit of footage in America where there was a bunch of kids walking out of a school with their parents, and this random crazy dude runs up with a handgun and starts trying to shoot the kids. And as soon as he goes to shoot the kids, he gets shot 3 times in the side because an off-duty policewoman who has a conceal and carry permit whips out a gun out of a purse and lays 3 bullets into the side of him. He doesn't even see it coming. He literally turns, points his gun at these kids, and as he does it, she runs at the side of him and shoots him 3 times at point blank range.
I was going to say, I'd rather it was the off-duty policewoman doing that than Joe Bloggs, who failed the army test and he's now really fat and I can see his stomach straining through his camouflage t-shirt.
Yeah, but the thing is, any mom could have done that. It was at point blank range.
She's a trained reactor.
Yeah, she is, but even if she wasn't a police officer, it wouldn't have made any difference, would it? If a mom had a gun and she reacted that way at that range, she would have done the same. He died anyway.
Well, yeah.
The 3 bullets to his side at point blank range, it killed him. He was there crying on the curb saying, "Don't shoot me again," but he bled out. The ambulance didn't get there in time.
I mean, no one did first aid?
No, she just stood there pointing a gun at him. She wasn't going to risk bending down he just attacked everyone, hadn't he? So it wouldn't have mattered if she was an off-duty police officer or not. Any mom with a conceal and carry that reacted the same would have. Yeah,
but then she's got quite a high level of training, quite a high level of reaction. She was trained to react. She was stood
like the distance away that I am from you.
I know, but even so, would Joe Bloggs from the public or Joanne Bloggs react the same way she did, with as fast as she did? Maybe that guy would have got off some shots first.
Well, maybe, but then it would have been the difference between him killing 6 kids and to killing 1 or 2, wouldn't it?
No, that's it.
So she would have still saved lives.
She still saved lives, don't get me wrong. But
and you have to think, it wouldn't be a random Joe Bloggs, because if she had a gun, she's probably trained with it.
You'd hope so.
Yeah, well...
Some people would just carry them as a deterrent.
Yeah, they would, but... I mean, again, does it really matter when you stood that close?
No.
Really?
You still got to be prepared to pull the trigger, though.
Yeah.
That's a big thing.
I think if I was a mom and my kid was stood next to me and a bunch of other moms and their kids were stood to the side and he pointed it at the kids and I thought, well, my kid could be next and I also don't want that kid to die because it's my best friend's kid, I'd probably pull the trigger pretty much straight away. And I think most moms would.
They probably would.
Your motherly instinct would kick in when you'd save the day.
So what the question is, what do we do about guns? What do you do about the...
I don't think there's
to stop it. I don't think you can.
No.
I think it's going to happen.
Yeah.
You've just got to have a better safety net.
Yeah.
In a way, if you want to sell X type of weapon, great. But maybe, before you get this type of weapon, because it can dish out a lot of lead in one direction at any one time, you need to go and be thoroughly psych evaluated. Yeah,
maybe more psych evaluation and making sure more kids are raised in a way in school and parents in the self-accountability. If you fail at life, it's on you. It's not on anyone else. And if you feel bad about something or something went wrong in your life, that's on you to fix, not to blame the world.
You're a failure.
Yeah.
Now take my gun, go behind the shed.
Shoot yourself.
It's like, hey, I didn't hear a shot.
Yeah. And also understanding that most killings are usually done by criminals that have gotten their gun illegally anyway.
Yeah, that's another valid point. And or you can just go to a gun show.
Yeah. Those assault rifle deaths, as awful as they are, most of them were probably acquired legally, and that's why they're so low. But of the handgun deaths, probably about 50, 60, probably more than that, actually, about 80% of them are probably criminals that have got them illegally.
Yeah.
They kill 2 or 3 people and then throw the gun away anyway. So, yeah.
Difficult one. We don't pretend to have the answers.
No, I don't think there is an answer, is there? It's like I said earlier. It's the guns don't kill people, do they? It's people. People are the problem. It's just it is a machine of death, yes. But when you've got your stats of over 1,000 people are stabbed to death in America, it's clear that people and the mind is the real issue, not the gun. The gun is just a machine. It doesn't really kill people.
Unless it's in the hands of an AI.
The user kills it. Yeah, unless it's in the hands of a Terminator.
Yeah.
And then it does.
Yeah.
So it's a difficult one, isn't it? And you're never going to, it's so ingrained in their culture, you're never going to take it away. Like the whole discussion they're having on gun control right now has nothing to do with handguns. It's all about assault rifles. But statistically, we know that assault rifles aren't the problem. It's just you see them in the news because it kills 10 or 15 people at a time instead of 1 or 2.
Yeah, that's
those 1 or 2s add up to 6,500. If they put that on the TV, everyone would be like, we need to take the handguns.
We had one.
Yeah.
And that was enough.
Yep.
I mean, it's a good job we haven't got guns in this country because I think we'd have a lot of shootings.
Yeah, maybe.
I think we've got a similar mindset to America.
Yeah, it's hard to say, isn't it?
Nowadays, I think there's not much between our two countries socially.
Yeah, but there's a lot of murders here, even without guns. I think if you check the stats, our murders for bludgeoning and stabbing is probably a lot higher than America.
And they're a bigger country.
Yeah. It's probably still high, though.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we've had a couple of stabbings this week in our hometown.
Exactly.
Jimmy the Stabber's been out and about.
Yeah. So it's not really... It's just a tool, isn't it? It's a scary tool because it makes a big sound and there's can be a lot of dead bodies if it's an assault rifle, but it's just a killing tool. Human beings are the problem. We're the murderers. We're the ones that go around killing everyone. Me and you in particular.
You say, like, look. What? Don't tell everybody on the podcast. Ixnay on the murder.
You're like, thanks. Now we've got to burn the gloves.
Yeah, I just bought them gloves.
The balaclavas.
Just bought them gloves. They're going to get me through at least another 3. Yeah. You know how expensive good murdering gloves are.
Oh, you know what? I watched the series Dexter a while back, and I thought, man, there's some good murdering gloves.
Yeah,
he's got really good murdering. They probably sit on your hands. It's not you're not even wearing a glove.
It's like it feels like I'm wearing nothing at all.
Yeah,
as I plunge my hand into their warm chest cavity to grip their still beating heart.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah,
but yeah, I
see. We do it the old-fashioned way.
Yeah. I don't think there is an answer. I think it's such a complex social issue and political issue. And that's the thing, isn't it? Both sides want to push it politically to the max because one wants to sound like the good guys when really they're not the good guys. They just want more governmental control. And if they take everyone's guns away, if they ever did develop into a dictatorship, the militia would never be able to come back. And that's what it was set in the Constitution for. And then the other side, they don't want their guns taken away because of that, but they're prepared to let people die unnecessarily by not making it stricter.
The militia are on a losing battle, though, Riley, aren't they?
Yeah, you said.
Because I mean, they can't stand up to tanks and attack helicopters.
100 million people could.
I don't know.
100 million people could. Just throwing bodies at the wall, isn't it?
Of course it is. But do you want to lose that many people?
That's the idea.
Let's see how many patriots will charge into the breach.
Yeah. Well, that's the idea, isn't it? If you can get any gun you want, right? You've got a gun, you've got armor-piercing rifles. You send 100 people with armor-piercing rifles. Is that tank going to be able to take out everyone you've got there? Where you've also got 100 people running at them with armor-piercing rifles trying to get in?
Because armor-piercing rounds will not hurt a main battle tank.
They don't need to hurt it. They just need to slow it down for someone to get on it.
You got your hatches locked.
You get them open. There's plenty of tools that'll get them open.
They're not really designed to work like that.
So there's no holes anywhere.
Not once you've locked down.
So there's no way of getting in.
You could drop a grenade down the exhaust pipe.
There you go.
It's just going to take the engine out.
Well, that's solved your problem, though, hasn't it?
Yeah, but I can probably still fire my main guns.
Yeah, but then they run out of ammo. Then what?
I'm going to sit there and I'm going to spark up a fag and I'm going to have a cup of tea.
Yeah, but they could just set the surrounding area on fire and you'll bake like a potato.
True, but I'm hoping that my guys will catch up with me by that point.
Well, not really, because you've got like 100 million people versus...
Yeah, but they're not going to be all there at the same time.
Huh?
They're all going to be there at the same time.
Why wouldn't they?
Because you can't fit that many people around a tank.
They could just dogpile it.
That'd be one hell of a dog pile.
That's the idea,
In that case, I'd detonate my shells.
Well, that's the idea, isn't it? That's why they don't want any gun control, because then they can get these weapons of destruction to whatever the army can get, they can get. So then they can take on the army, except for the army has a few million people, and then America has literally like 360 million. And I'm sure if the government tried to take like everything and turn into a dictatorship randomly, I'm sure millions and millions of them would turn up with everything they had.
Well, let's see what happens.
And they'd win. They would definitely win. And an army wouldn't beat that many people. Not unless they were
10 trained soldiers can defeat a mob.
Not unless they were prepared to use chemical weapons or bioweapons.
You got the Moab.
Huh?
You got the Moab.
What's that?
Mother of all bombs.
You just bomb your own people.
Well, they're storming the breach. Yes.
Yeah.
You know.
How do you know in this scenario they've not taken those facilities though?
Well, I'm hoping they got no one to fly the plane in that scenario.
Well, they would, because they'd have ex-military that don't believe in the cause. That's the thing, see.
Man, stop dismantling my coup.
That's the thing, see, is half the military would leave, wouldn't they? Because they would have family and friends and they wouldn't believe in it.
That's the thing. You can't ask your soldiers to shoot down their own families.
Yeah, so you'd have massive dissent. So the army would actually probably be 1/10 of what it actually is now.
Yeah.
Everyone else would join. Well, that's what would happen. That's what happened with America and England, isn't it?
Mm.
Massive amounts of people betrayed the crown. It would happen again.
Traitors.
If you feel like you have a dictatorship, that's what would happen.
Treacherous.
And then they'd win. Because they won once. They won their independence. They'd win it again, wouldn't they?
They didn't beat us in 1812.
Didn't they?
No, we burnt the White House down. Still got the scorch marks in the basement, apparently.
We didn't get it back, though.
No, we just burnt it down to prove a point.
Yeah. But yeah, that's what it's there for, isn't it? The militia's there to rise up. That's why they have it in their constitution.
Yeah. Anyway, I think that's pretty much all we can say. I mean, there is no easy answer to this.
No.
And sorry for listener, you've listened to us for 2 hours going on about it, and there's no easy answer. We do not have any way to make this better for you.
Nope.
Let us know.
Yeah, what you think.
It'd be nice. So thank you very much for listening. I've been Ben. Don't drink the Flavorade. Don't join a cult, but always form a shield wall.
I've been Sean. Thanks for listening. Don't be a dick. Listen to us on SoundCloud, Spotify, Anchor, YouTube. Now I've set that up.
YouTube. What's the name on YouTube? Devil's Advocate.
Yeah. Subscribe to that. Yeah, I never understood that. You guys have a different YouTube name to your actual podcast.
I don't think we could actually fit it in.
Oh. Just put it cutting through the ball.
And then someone had that. I don't know.
And just put post-truth apocalypse, but PT, whatever.
PTA.
Yeah, PTA. That's
I didn't set it up.
Yeah, listen to us on YouTube and subscribe on that. Give us money on Patreon. We're poor.
Subscribe on YouTube. Definitely click that big red link. There'll be more videos coming out soon.
Yeah, we're going to start recording more there. Maybe we'll make it a weekly thing.
Yeah.
So they can see our mugs every week.
I'm sure they'll love it.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks for listening. Bye.
Bye-bye.
We are Devil's Advocate.